Hi, my name is Jessica Allen. I'm the principal of the International School of Monterey, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the curriculum here at the International School of Monterey and the philosophy that we use to frame the learning for the students. So you can see in this picture, we have two models. These are the models of the International Baccalaureate, which is the curriculum framework that we use. And the yellow model is the one that's for the kindergarten through fifth grade students, and this is called the Primary Years Program. And we refer to it as the PYP. This model, the red one, is the model that we use for our middle years program, which are our students in grades 6 through 8. And we refer to this as the MYP. Both of these models show you a little bit about how the curriculum is framed at our school. You can see that we have traditional courses on the outside rings. This is what you would expect to see at a school. We have math, language arts, we have humanities, we have various core topics that you're used to seeing. But in addition to that, we also have what we like to consider our enhanced curriculum, the thing that makes us different or special compared to some other schools that you may have known in the past. You can see that we have international mindedness, and I'll talk more about that in just a minute, but that's one of the philosophical foundations that we believe in very strongly. You can also see that we have action in both models, service in our middle years program. And we also have things called approaches to learning or concepts. And we talk very seriously about what these approaches and concepts look like for all students, that we don't just work on content, but we really dig deep in helping kids understand how to learn, the skill of learning, and also the big ideas in learning so that they can remember what they learn for now until into their future when they're adults. And lastly, and most importantly, you can see in the center of both of those models, there are pictures of 3 children. This is to signify that for us at our school here at ISM, as part of the International Baccalaureate school programs, we believe that students are at the center of all of the learning. They're always the reason that we make our choices. We think of what they need first. We try to pick learning experiences that will help move all students forward as best as we possibly can. So let me give you some examples of what that looks like in our school. For our curriculum, it is inquiry based, and you can see in the picture on the top left, this was a student who was studying the 3 little pigs, and they were talking about problem solving. And so they actually redesigned the 3 little pigs house and tried to figure out how they could make it better and would it withstand blowing and wind. They actually used big fans in the end to test out their models. But what this represents is the students really have curiosity. We encourage them to ask questions. What would happen? What could happen? We encourage them to be lifelong learners so that they never stop asking these questions. We really try to focus on investigation and reflection. So if that didn't work, why didn't it work? What could we do better next time? And we really ask students throughout all of their years at ISM to transfer that knowledge and build upon it. So every teacher is trained in this idea, and they ask often, well, what did you learn before? What worked before? What do you think we could do now? How could we add what we learned to what you already knew to get a new improvement? So you can also see in this picture that learning at ISM is active. We ask students to collaborate. It is embedded in everything we do in every grade level. We ask students to do many different things in many different subjects. We ask students to be interactive in their classroom arrangements. They sit with different students often. They work with different students. They're asked to take on different roles. Sometimes they're a leader, sometimes they're a listener, sometimes they're a writer. And we try to build those skills throughout their time at ISM so that when they leave, they are actively able to participate with other kids wherever they may go and whatever learning situations they may encounter. And when you go into our classrooms, you can really see this because you see their learning on the walls. They aren't store-bought posters, they're student-made work. And we put them up on the walls to showcase all of the great learning that the students do, all of the questions that they ask, all the curiosities that they have. And you can see that in every class, all the way from kindergarten through 8th grade. And lastly, for our curriculum, it's very supportive. We believe very strongly in keeping students together and supporting them in many different ways. All of our teachers are trained in differentiation and continue to learn more about universal design for learning. We want to make sure we include many different types of learning styles. We also make sure that we work on the social emotional needs of all students. Our teachers are trained in responsive classroom, and we use those resources so that we're not just talking about content and standards, but we're also talking about feelings and how can we get along, and we build those skills so that we have a whole child that we address, not just their academics, but their social emotional needs as well. And we also work really hard on providing different types of assessments so that we can see the students being successful in many different ways, because we want all students to be successful at ISM. Our learning also is about the learning experiences that we provide for our students. And you can see many examples here on this slide. This was students who went to the aquarium to ask questions and have hands-on experiences. And we also have something called school-wide enrichment models. And you can see in both of these experiences, they're connected with many different subjects across the grades, lots of different experiences. Our school-wide enrichment model in particular is one of the highlights. Every student always says it's the thing that they love the most about ISM. And what we do is every 3 times a year for 6 weeks, we have the students participate in classes on Friday afternoons from 1:30 until 3 o'clock. And these classes are specially made classes provided by teachers or outside community members. And the classes are non-traditional subjects. You can see the list there. The most popular one is surfing that Mr. Ravi holds, and he'll take a few students and teach them how to surf. We've had everything from basket weaving to robotics to programming telephones, mobile phones. We have students come in and give classes to other students. And what this is all about is it's based on the gifted and talented model that all students have the ability to enrich themselves. And so all of our students participate. They choose the classes. Parents do not help them make the choices. They pick their first, second, or third choice, and then they're put into the classes and they get to explore new ways of learning for the next 6 weeks. And we do that 3 times in the school year. Our curriculum is also very founded on the idea of international mindedness. Our whole curriculum is founded on this idea. And what it really looks like is that we try to connect any of the content learning that the students might encounter, and we try to build a bridge to what it looks like outside of just our local area. What does it look like across the United States? What does it look like out into the world? And we try to make similarities and comparisons. We try to make sure that they understand more than just one point of view. We are very lucky that we have many teachers from broad international experiences. They bring all of that experience into their teaching as well. We also try very hard to be linguistically diverse with our student body. We encourage the students to use their other languages if they have them so that they can express themselves. And we also support them using that language to help communicate with others. And we also ourselves provide second language support through our Spanish classes and home language when we're able. And lastly, foundationally, as I said, we really believe in educating not just the academics, but the whole child. And our whole school is founded on the idea of this learner profile. These are 10 attributes that are valued by IB World Schools. Any school that you go to that's an international baccalaureate school will have these values as their foundation. It makes our students stand out. It's what drives our students to be internationally minded and successful students once they graduate from ISM. And these values are embedded in everything, whether we're in an assembly, whether we're on the playground, whether we're in the lunchroom, whether we're learning in the class. We always encourage the students to think about these values and attributes, to act upon these values and attributes, to reflect on them, and it helps them become global citizens, and that's the whole goal. And this, for us, is the area where everyone can support the students. The entire ISM community is committed to developing these attributes in every single student at our school. And it shows, and all of our staff members model these attributes every day for our students. So you might be asking, what can you do to help support your child? I would say that your support is always needed. As you heard Mr. Madden mention, we can't do this alone. Your support matters very much. And for the curriculum, it's important to help your child ask questions, encourage them to be curious when they're at home, encourage them to think about things from another point of view. If they're having a conflict or they're learning about something new, encourage them to look at that from another person's point of view or a different perspective, or maybe another character's point of view. And Encourage them to work with others. Maybe if you have siblings at home, if they have siblings at home, encouraging them to try to figure out how they can work together or problem solve if they're having a conflict, because those skills are the ones that they're also learning here at school. To encourage them to try new ways of learning. Sometimes students are afraid to draw something because they're better with writing, or better to draw than to write. So encouraging them to try new ways of learning so that they can expand their experience, they can expand their skills, and they can be comfortable with being a risk taker and tackling new things, so that when they leave ISM and they become those lifelong learners, they have a good foundation of using those skills in many different experiences. And most importantly, at home, helping them live the learner profile, encouraging them and celebrating when you see them being caring, or when you see them being risk takers, or when you notice that they're being knowledgeable, saying it out loud, being explicit, and also being role models at home. That help will absolutely help us here at school as well, because they get to hear and see the same attributes are important to you at home as they are to us in our ISM community. So I'd like to say thank you very much for taking the time to learn more about ISM, our community, and the foundation that our curriculum is built on. Thank you so much.